Amazing. Welcome, welcome, beautiful beings. Good to see you. Happy Thursday. Happy live session day. I'm excited to see the magic that unfolds from this space. Christy, what was that? What was the little moment? You noticed something you noticed, and I wanted to know.
I'm seeing that Sandy's back. I was happy to see that
Sandy.
she's here. Yeah, I hope that her healing trip to Mexico was beautiful and wonderful.
I know,
And
I want to hear about it. It's so funny. As soon as I saw Sandy in there, I thought the same thing. I was like, I need to hear about Mexico. How was the trip in Mexico? I'm excited when we get to connect again, Sandy.
I love all the
Awesome.
beautiful faces. I love you all.
Me too, me too. Amazing. Mark is here. Laureen's here. Hi, Laureen. Madeline's here. Hi, Madeline. Mastermind starts soon. I'm excited. Amazing. Adriana's here. Lee is here. What's up, Lee? It's good to see you. Jennifer's here. Hi, Jennifer. Emily's here. Hi, Emily. Aaron. Ryan is new. Hi, Ryan. It's good to see you. Welcome in. Awesome. Amazing. Okay, beautiful beings. So, we are going to dive in today. And as always, what we'll do in this session, what we've done actually, if those of you haven't seen it yet, what we do in these sessions is we start with perspective shifts. So I want you to think about anything, any question you might have. If there's something you want to improve in a perspective, you notice something's a little limiting, you want to hear me riff on something. It could be a theme, a topic, or just something you love to see a higher perspective on. So perspective shifts are going to be in the beginning of the sessions. These are faster. I'm really sharing faster guidance, some ways to look deeper into things. However, I will put a timer on for the perspective shifts, and those are things that you will be putting in the chat. So if you have any perspectives that you've prepared before the session, maybe you were in the community chat, you've prepared some things, you can go ahead and start putting those in the chat. In a few minutes, I'll get into those. Then we're going to do some live support for those of you who would like some live support, some perspectives, more interactive live support. Maybe we go into a deep healing session. Sometimes it's really about, hey, here's the next best step. So sometimes we're really going into deep subconscious identities that we're supporting people to transform. Sometimes we go into, hey, this is the next best step. This is something to self-reflect on. This is the next best step forward, to step out of the world of words we were in, to step out of a perspective that was limiting us and step into a world of more possibility. So that's how this call will go. And something I want to share in the beginning of this is, you know, the Subconscious Freedom Mastermind, the last round just closed this Saturday. And like, I am still trying to process the incredible feedback that we heard from last round. Those of you who are on the call felt it. So for those of you who are joining in, just know there is a momentum of just incredible shifts, incredible energy that has been infused into this space. And you are going to take it and run with it when the next round starts in the end of June. And it is just such a beautiful space to be. So I wanted to share that with you guys because the next round is starting the end of June. And those of you who are already in, some of you are already in it. And just know that this session is a part of moving that forward. And just so we know what's on the inside, in the Subconscious Freedom Mastermind, we go through creating freedom on a subconscious level, on a mind level. So mindset on this call is mainly mindset. Sometimes I support on different levels too on this call, but we go through creating subconscious freedom on a mindset level, on a body level, on an emotional level, and on the deeper soul level. So that's why people experience the results they do on the inside, because we're really working on multiple levels and creating integration across these spaces. And inside of this mastermind, there are tools, very, very practical tools. That's why I always shared with Mark. I'm like, Mark, I can't wait until you receive some of those logistics inside of that, because the step-by-step processes are very practical, very much so things you can implement. And it's creating integration on such many levels of the mind, the body, the soul, the emotion, the heart. So you'll really be held in this space, very much so supportive to create freedom and true liberation on all levels. So the Subconscious Freedom Mastermind starts the next round, the end of June. We just closed out this last round. Like, my gosh, it's so hard to say bye to these groups because I care so deeply about every being. So like I have an emotional thing going on every time I'm saying bye because in this training you are with me. Like I'm with you. If you join the coaches round, I'm with you every single weekend. I'm very present with you. I care deeply about you. We get to know each other. So it's a really special space to be. So that starts at the end of the June. If you have any questions about that, just email support@sarahzula.com. And I'm always welcoming people in. And if there's ever something that stops you that is purely financial, where you're like, it is just, I don't live in the realm where I can invest in things like this, what I want you to do is something very specific. I want you to email support@sarahzula.com and I want you to share why you want to be a part of this and just let me in on your intention of why you want to be a part of the mastermind. And what I can offer is a sliding scale if you really, really don't have the finances for it, right? If it's just not in your realm, I want you guys to know that that's available. But if it is somehow possible, like make the move, make the stretch, investing in yourself is a huge quantum leap. So let yourself believe in yourself on that level too. But this is something that I do to make this work very, very available to all people. Is if someone's really, really not financially able, we make something work for you. Just email support@sarahzula.com. You'll email Sharon and you will let her know your why for joining this and your intentions for being a part of it. Is that helpful for everyone to know that's available? Awesome. Okay, cool. So what we do here, let's dive in. Something I want to share a reminder, and you can go ahead and start sharing the perspective shifts, and we'll riff on those, and then we'll get into some personal support. But what I want to remind people of here, I want to remind every single one of you of this, that the reason why we start this with perspective shifts is because one change in perspective can completely transform your entire reality. One change. And sometimes it is about one change. Because I want to remind you that this it's an inner game experienced through outer form. When you change within, your reality field truly transforms. And when you change the way you see something, what you see changes. So we don't want to downplay this as, oh, it's just a perspective. It's no, because our perspective is the reality we live. Our perspective changes the way that we have conversations with ourselves, our inner narratives. Our inner narratives then send off, when we think something over time, have a perspective over time, it then sends off hormonal signals down to the cells of our body, which causes our body to respond to the perspectives we're holding. Now, in our inner world, our body's responding to that on a cellular level, the perspectives we hold, the stories we tell, on an outer level. We will make decisions based on these narratives we're telling ourselves. People will respond to us based on the narratives we are telling ourselves, right? There's this beautiful woman I was talking to today who actually takes care of our home here. So she cleans our home. And every now and then I have little conversations with her. She's amazing, but she has a little bit of broken English. We're in Portugal. And today she said to me, she's like, my husband is changing. She's like, my husband and my kids are changing. Why is that happening? And she's like, but I know why it's happening because I'm changing. And these are from little conversations, 2-minute conversations, right? And it's something that we forget sometimes, especially if we're in a rut or there's no ruts, but if we're in an area where we're really facing something big, we kind of lose sight on the pure magic of one perspective shift. And the reason why we start this with perspective shifts is because often we will hold perspectives so close to us that we don't even realize we have a perspective that's limiting us. But then we sign on to something like this and we hear someone talk about maybe a narrative that they have on themselves, like it's not possible for them to make this change or something like that. You hear me talk about limitless possibility and then you self-reflect and you're like, wait a minute, I've been telling myself that it's not possible. I didn't even know I've been having that narrative. So it's through hearing us talk about these things, hearing some other things that people bring up, that we're able to catch any of our blind spots and say, how am I actually talking to myself? What are actually the thoughts going on in my head? What perspectives am I really holding? And where do I have room for my next level of freedom here? Then on these sessions, we go into these deeper sessions where we start to reveal some of the subconscious identities. This is what I call the world of words we're living in. So I know someone in the chat, I've been, checking in and out of the chat. One, the community chat is amazing because you all are supporting one another in it, which is what it's about. It's about the community chat. From the beginning, I never wanted it to be about, well, Sarah's got to answer a question or Sarah's got to, it's like, no, no, no. This is about all of us rising together, stepping into our leadership, supporting one another. So I want to give a shout out to the community chat because you all are doing that in there. And that's so powerful to see. You're supporting one another. It's so powerful. But I was looking in the community chat and someone was talking about shifting on a body level as different from shifting on the subconscious level. And I want to clean that up because the body is listening to the narratives you're in. A big keyword right now in the personal development space, coaching, healing space is nervous system. This is like a huge keyword. Everyone's talking about this. Everyone's saying that this is the secret sauce, the secret key. And yes, our nervous system all gets to heal on this planet. Most people have been functioning from a high functioning anxiety state, constant fight or flight. So I get why it's a keyword. And I get why people are like, but we got to do the work in the body. Yes, that's why we have a module on body healing inside of the mastermind. And I want to remind you guys that the subconscious identity work that we're doing is very different than subconscious work that mainstream narratives talk about. This isn't affirmations, this is getting to the world of words that we've been living in. And those world of words are spoken down to a cellular level, causing our body to respond a certain way. This is why for many people, they might do all the breath work, all the meditation, all the yoga, all the things, all the scripture studying, whatever it is that they're doing. And they're like, but why is my body still responding in this way? Well, it's because there's likely some kind of a subconscious identity that is causing our body to live within a confined world that is causing our body to respond a certain way. So, for example, if someone is having a subconscious identity of it's not safe to be me, then what that identity is doing is on a subconscious level, on a regular level, feeding down information to the cells of the body and letting the cells of the body know, hey, we got to fight for our existence, right? We got to fight to survive because it's not safe to be me. So if someone has a narrative of it's not safe to be me, then when they're speaking out and trying to tell someone how they feel, oh my goodness, no way, their body is just freezes up. So this is why nervous system support is so powerful because you start to calm the body, let the body know it's safe. But we want to be able to combine these things with those deeper identities. Because if we're not transforming the deeper subconscious identities, who we learned we were to ourselves before we knew better, that's the deeper identity. If we're not transforming those deeper subconscious identities, then no matter what nervous system support work we do, we would grow, 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 and then snap back to the same old identity. Because wherever we go, there we are. Those deeper identities are the worlds of words we're living in. So, what personal development work can become without doing the deeper identity work? It's like we become the best version of our limited selves, right? And people spend a long time there. What I'm doing and inviting us to do, and what we're doing, what we're all doing here together, is we're saying, no, no, I'm not here for coping as the best version of my limited self. I'm here to expand beyond any limitations I have and live a life of true liberation. We're like, I'm not here for coping anymore. I'm here for freaking liberation. I know that my soul is limitless and I want to see it in my reality field. I want to start experiencing these shifts that I know on a spiritual level, I know on a soul level. I want to start embodying them. I'm here for liberation, baby. That's what we're doing here. So, what we will do in this training is get to those deeper subconscious training, this session. Well, it is a training too. But what we'll do on these calls, what we'll always do is spend the second half going to the deeper subconscious identities. Now, I'm going to spend a moment to talk about this on a different level and why I said that what a lot of people are doing is becoming the best version of their limited selves is because we can think about subconscious identities like the foundation of a home. So let's think about the foundation of a home. Now, the home can only be as big as the foundation. So if we're cleaning out a room, i.e., doing healing work, becoming the best version of our limited selves without going into the identities, if we're clearing out a home, we can make a lot of changes in that home by uplifting things. We can change the flooring, we can change the wallpaper, we can make it beautiful, make a nice background, put some decorations up. We can make that space beautiful. However, when we want to make it bigger, when we want to expand beyond the confines of that little square footage that we've been living in, what we want to make sure we're doing is getting to the identity, the foundation, because that's the space that we can dissolve away what's making us exist within that square footage and start freaking transforming it and saying, no, I want a mansion now. I don't want this little square footage apartment. I made it beautiful. I learned to be grateful for it. I learned to know I'm at peace within it. I made it awesome. But when we're ready to really create those shifts, it's identity time. Then it becomes a practice. So sometimes you'll see me work with someone get to the subconscious identity, new transformations happen. Then from the other side of that, what happens is then it becomes a practice because these identities have been there for decades. So then it's a practice of awareness. It's a practice of tuning more into the world where we're free and less into the old limitations. So it's a practice over time, right? So, how is that example of talking about the foundation of a home when we talk about subconscious identities? Was that helpful? Seeing that the identities are creating the foundation. And when we really want to break the mold, when we want to really transform instead of becoming the best version of our limited selves, meaning clearing up the small square footage of an apartment, making it beautiful, we're ready to really transform. That's that identity work. It's like, well, who have I been thinking I am to myself that's making me exist within this small square footage? Let's dissolve this away and be the creator beings and choose who we're going to be. No longer are we defined by the things of our past. We set ourselves free and we say, this is who I now am. This is the reality field I now choose, right? So, what I always share with people is what this work is doing is bringing back the freedom to choose. Because when something's subconscious, we're just playing out behaviors, patterns, thoughts. We're just playing out these things unconsciously, so then we don't really have a choice. The gift we're given once we're aware, even with a perspective shift, is now we have the power to choose. We say, no, that old reality does not define me because I'm aware now, I'm awake now. This is who I now am. This is what I now choose. I choose that I'm a walking miracle. I choose that good things are meant for me. I choose that I'm available for abundance because it's our birthright. I choose that making money is easy for me. I choose that I deserve that beautiful love, loving relationship where we appreciate one another and we love one another. I'm worthy of love. That's what I choose. Right? Awesome. So I wanted to speak on this a little bit so we can get on the same page, start feeling out the energy. I know that there's been a lot of initiations happening the past few weeks. I know in my reality field, I've experienced them. So I'm just sending everyone so much love. If you've been going through a lot of upgrades, a lot of initiations, sending you so much love. And let's get into the perspective shifts. Awesome. Okay, so let's start with Mark. And then I will hear from you guys, but I will put a timer on so I don't talk for an hour about one, okay? Because I can talk. If you haven't noticed already. Awesome. How are we all doing? Was the prep getting us into the mindset helpful? Awesome. Amazing. Cool. Okay. Timer is on. Mark said here, perspective shift. He is learning how to use some of these tools at work. Yes, hearing your story, Mark, was freaking awesome. So, Mark said he's learning how to use some of these tools to work with the subconscious in his work, and he is having great results. He struggles with it more with his partner because he's much more attached and triggered. Any advice? This is the real work, right? This is the real work because the people closest to us are our closest mirrors. So if we start going into the triggered state, then what happens is we can get so tripped up on our own hurt and our own thing going on that all of a sudden we respond in ways that's really responding in the hurt ego than actually the one who's holding space. Something that can be very helpful in a relationship, and this is something I train in my personal relationship all the time, is really allowing ourselves when we're here to listen to what someone else is going through and when someone else is sharing, that we really put ourselves in the intentional mindset that it's our time to hold space for them, to listen to them. right? Which means that we don't deny their reality when they're sharing. Which means that when someone says something and it's not how you perceive it, that we don't jump in and say, that's not what happened, right? Which would be denying their reality. So, this is a deep practice that I would invite both people to have a conversation about when you're in a good mood. Like when you're in a really great mood, you're getting along well. It's like, hey, I've been learning this about communicating through difficult times, and I'd really like for us to try it out. Which means that one person gets to share from their perspective without the interjection of someone else. Whereas someone's really listening to understand. The one who's listening to others to understand is going through the biggest dojo in that moment, because if we're triggered, we get to remind ourselves, hey, it's not about me. This is their experience. This is their world. This is what's going on subconsciously within them. Everyone, remember, everyone is seeing the world through their own subconscious lens. And for example, if someone has, if your partner or someone has some kind of an identity that they feel like they're not accepted, and you as a partner is like, I literally can't do any more to show you how much I'm accepting you. We've got to remember that it's not about us and what we're doing and what we're not doing. It's about an identity that they learned before they knew better, which allows us to have so much compassion because it's not really about us and it's much more about the identities that they are moving through. So, what we do in these moments, and you're going to have Mark, as we go through the mastermind, you're going to have tools of like communicating these things and some tools with communicating these things. But what I would share is the biggest feedback for this is having a conversation about this when you guys are both doing well, and that you both take turns really sharing your side of what you're feeling. And you do your best to not blame your partner for it. So instead of saying, you made me feel this way, what we would say is, when this happened, it triggered this in me. We talk about this more in the mastermind. When this happened, it triggered this in me. As soon as we say, you made me feel this way, or that's not how it happened, someone shuts down, the walls of the ego go up, and it becomes a fight. Instead of, hey, let's come and talk about this and find a resolution together where it's not about you or me, it's not about right or wrong, it's about both of us evolving through this together. So, like I want to summarize what I said there and then bring in the second piece in under a minute. So, we want to be able to talk about having this conversation at a different level where one person really gets to share their side, what they're feeling in them. We're putting our personality aside in that moment. We're asking questions. We're saying, and what did that remind you of? And what did that leave you feeling? We might even say, I'm so sorry it made you feel that way. That's not my intention. I'm so sorry. What did it remind you of? What did it leave you feeling? Where do you think this is really coming from? Right? We're really putting our personality aside and we're allowing us to show up and truly listen. But the thing is, we want to make sure that our partner does their best to do that for us too. Sometimes when if we're the ones doing the work, it takes a little bit of training each other to be able to have conversations on this level. And it can get messy sometimes, right? I do this work for a living, and sometimes my ego gets triggered, and I'm like, oh, it's so hard. I just want to say, stop doing that. Stop talking like that. So there are moments we want to leave room for our humanity, but we want to make sure that you're also having space to share your perspective as well. Because sometimes when we're doing this work, it can be so easy to just hold space for another person. And then you go off on your own and process, but that's not true growth together. So we really want to also be inviting the space when the partner has the capacity to really truly hear you as well, for you so you can share your perspective as well. Give time for this. When there's deep, deep triggers, this might happen over a few days. Like sometimes relationships really, like I said this on a recent podcast, I still don't know where the quote is, but there's this quote where it's like, if a relationship isn't going to the edges of annihilation, then it's not a true relationship. Right? Because what's happening is through the combination of these two essences, what's happening is we're constantly making a dance of a shared reality field, which causes one ego to start dissolving away, another to dissolve away. It mirrors to us our deepest, deepest perspectives, some of our deepest insecurities. So I'm not saying that you're going to sit here and have this conversation in an hour. It's okay if it happens over a few days, but it is so, so worth being a skill to practice. So the next piece I want to share is a reminder that when you're handling someone else's trigger, what you're actually dealing with is just a hurt little kid. And when you're triggered, what you're dealing with is a hurt part of you that needs attention and love. This is what's really happening in triggers. And when we're triggered by someone, no matter what the other person did, it is not about them. This is a skill to really refine. This is where your power will come back to you on such a level that it's so much easier to not get triggered, because we realize that what they did has nothing to do with me, everything to do with what's subconsciously going on within them. Remember, the subconscious is generating 95% of our experience, our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions. What they did had everything to do with what's subconsciously going on within them. But what I made it mean has everything to do with me, right? This is a high level of freaking empowerment. But can you guys feel me? This changes our world. We start functioning in a different way. No longer are we like, well, why'd you do this? I need my rights and you took them away. It's like, no, 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 no. We are free, empowered beings that are creating our experience. And this is the world we're choosing to live in. And no one is responsible for how we feel. We are responsible for our feelings, which means the conversation transforms. And it's so much easier to not go into it and be like, well, when you did this, you made me feel this way, or like you hurt me and you made me hurt like I was when I was a kid. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What I'm making it mean is my responsibility. When we really anchor this in, this is a practice. It is such a practice. This is why we have a whole modality on triggers in the mastermind. It's such a practice. But when we shift out of the world of someone else being responsible for how we feel, and we're stepping into our empowerment, all of a sudden triggers become our biggest guides to freedom. Because we realize it's not about the other person. The other person is revealing within me some kind of a perspective it's time to be free of. It's time to heal, right? Then we talk on a different level and we get to go to that person and say, when this happened, it really made me feel like this, which was triggering me so much because I felt like that little kid that was trapped, or I felt like that little kid that didn't matter, or I felt like that little kid that was alone again. And so, what it gave me the opportunity to do is to heal that version of me, to clear out these stories. Can you feel the empowerment in that cascade? When this happened, it made me feel this. It reminded me of this. It gave me the opportunity to clean this piece up, right? So, mini training in this. Hope this was very helpful for anyone in relationship. I'm going to move on to the next question. But yes, trigger modality is something we do in the mastermind. We have a whole modality where we spend 2 weeks on this. So it's powerful stuff. You're going to love it. Okay, self-blame about the financial situation, Adriana says. Okay, so I would want you to start to explore what the self-blame is. Like, what are the narratives happening within the self-blame that show up? Maybe it could be something like, I always make the wrong decision, or this is all my fault, all of these things. So I would want you to start to explore, what is the self for a second. I froze, so I'm waiting for a second. Is that the first time I froze, or has it been happening? It's the first time? Okay. If it happens again, I'll switch to the hotspot. Portuguese Wi-Fi is just, Portuguese, they just, stuff happens. Wi-Fi is just like, oh, we're going to work today. We're not going to work today. It's like the epitome of the beautiful beings in this country. But I love the beings in this country. Oh my God, I love them. Okay, so self-blame about the financial situation. To bring that up, I'm going to restart this. What I would want you to do is start to get to, what are the stories that happen? Like, what are the actual narratives that show up with this? So it's like, what are you telling yourself when you get into that blame mode? Maybe it's like, here we go again. We made a wrong choice, or we made a bad decision, or this is all my fault. Then we can start working with that narrative to start creating some freedom there. One of the perspectives we can start bringing in is knowing we are all doing the best we can before we subconsciously know better. If I made some financial decisions, I didn't make any bad decisions. I didn't make any wrong decisions. I decided what I did based on what was going on at the time, based on how I felt, based on some of the things I was moving through. I made the decisions I did based on what was going on within me. So instead of getting down on me because we're all doing the best we can before we subconsciously know better, let's start getting curious about what was going on a conscious and subconscious level, clean this up, and transform this. Money is an energy, it's a frequency. And when we start transforming our own inner world to hold a different frequency, where we know we are worthy of wealth, that making money is easy for us, that we get to learn about how to hold money. We get to learn about how to know that we are safe to build more wealth. So when we look into the stories that are being told in that moment, it'll give us a big insight into what gets to heal. So if the self-blame is this world of like doing something wrong, then we get to heal the idea that you could never do anything wrong. We are all doing the best we can before we subconsciously know better. So then what we step into is a world where we start to explore, well, I wonder what was consciously or subconsciously going on that made me have the relationship with my finances that I did. Often financial relationships can be tied to two things. They can be tied to safety and a sense of self-value. And then we have the narratives that are on the surface. Again, there's a money mindset module inside of the mastermind. We do upgrade the relationship to money in the mastermind. Two of the biggest things, though, self-value and safety. So when you know that you are safe to be you, you are always held, you are always protected, then it becomes a world of starting to transform the narratives around money. This is more surface level. The self-worth and value and safety, self-worth and value are the same thing. So self-value and safety, those are more subconscious. It's like, how do we actually feel when we open our bank account? If we look at the bank account and the nervous system is freaked out, we know we have a little bit of a safety thing that we really get to heal on a subconscious level. Now, there's also the baseline narratives. These are the subconscious narratives that we might have picked up from the world. We want to heal on that level too. We want to heal the mindset around it and the deeper identities. So as I share that, if there's something around value or safety, it's like, okay, that's my workshop. I get to know I'm safe, I'm held, I'm always protected, I'm always taken care of. And then we start shifting the narratives around money, or simultaneously. It's easy to make money. Do we have some narratives that we have to work hard for it? Wait a minute. What if it was easy for me to make money? What if money came to me in expected and unexpected ways? Are there any narratives that make you think it's better off not to have it? For example, like a narrative like people with money are bad. If we have a narrative that people with money are bad, and then we want to make more, it doesn't match, right? So we want to be looking on at the stories we have around money, do some cleaning work, do some upgrade work. I have the wealth mindset podcast you can listen to and see what's there. And we want to look at the self-value, the world of self-value. How do we actually perceive we are? I'm worthy of great things. How does that feel when you say that? I'm worthy to receive. It is easy for me to receive. I welcome in beautiful things. How do we feel as we think into that? When someone wants to give us something, are we able to receive it? So these are all things we get to start cleaning up with the money mindset. And just know that no matter what happened, we're all doing the best we can before we know better. Even if you might think, well, Sarah, you don't know how stupid the thing I did was. It's like, I promise you it wasn't. There was something subconsciously going on that made us make the decision that we did. So if we just get curious, then we can heal what was going on to make us make that decision. Awesome. So I'm going to move on from the space, but I do have a whole podcast episode on it. And those of you who are joining the mastermind, we will spend time for a week on a module on upgrading the money mindset and healing some things underneath the surface. Money is not about money. It's not about money. It's about how we relate to it, which is transforming our relationship that we actually have with ourselves. So that's why I always say to people, some people who are spiritual are like, well, money doesn't really matter, so I don't want to spend time on it. It's like, if you have a relationship to money as if you are not worth making more money, or it's hard for you to because you have to work hard to, you're going to have to face that frequency and that narrative somewhere else if you don't face it with money, because wherever we go, there we are. So we might as well look into our relationship with money, enhance it, improve it, clean it up, so we can start being a being that can hold more wealth, right? And stepping out of the world of blame is very, very important here. To summarize that, no one's doing anything wrong. There's no fault here. We are all just doing the best we can before we subconsciously know better. Once we notice what we do, we become aware of it and get the opportunity to shift it. But if we're caught up in blame, then what happens is people get dragged down and they feel too disempowered to change it, right? So we really want to start shedding that world of blame. You can take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, let it just dissolve away from your world. It's not about right and wrong. No one's doing anything wrong. We're all learning. We're all doing the best we can before we subconsciously know better. So let's get curious about what was subconsciously going on, learn from it, improve it, and up level in that area. Next one is wow, a lot of money things. Y'all, we get to maybe create another podcast episode on it, and you guys can let me know what questions you have about the last one, so we can create another podcast episode of it. So I'm afraid there won't be more money. So that in and of itself, I would question it right away. Because one, of course, there's more money. That's like, why is that not true? Is how I would question it. I want to slow down. So, what is not true about that? What's not true about that is, of course, there's more money. There's more money. There's so much money going around. They're just printing money all the time. There's more than enough money, right? So I'm afraid there won't be any more. We want to understand what's actually subconsciously going on there, which is what do we think would happen when there wouldn't be any more? Well, that person will be saying, probably, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be okay. So then what they get to reassure themselves to know is no matter what, I'll always be okay. I've always been okay. I'm safe here. I'm held here. I'm resourceful. I'll always figure it out. And from that energy, we start refining that. We start reminding ourselves, oh my gosh, how silly is it that I thought there won't be any more? Of course, there's more. There's an abundance of money where it's just about us tuning into the frequency of knowing making money is easy for me. I am a person who learns how to make more and more every day. I welcome in more money. I'm creating structures and containers to hold it. Learning about money. If you feel like you don't know anything about it, learning about it in and of itself, starting to learn how to hold more wealth, starting to learn about money itself, learning about the different aspects of money, cleaning up the perspectives around it. So the one before that is going to be interlaid into this one right here, right? So it's the same answer for the answer I gave before. And just to add to that, I'm really questioning the levels of that. So I'm afraid there won't be any more. Well, of course there's more because there's an abundance of money. It's just about us tuning in to being the ones that align with that, knowing that it's okay for you to want more wealth. It's not spiritual. It's not good. It's a beautiful thing. It lets you play in this reality field. It lets you be able to invest in yourself in amazing ways. It lets you improve your life in amazing ways. It lets you impact this world in beautiful ways. So being able to know that, of course, there's more than enough, and I'm going to be a being that aligns with that, right? I'm going to be a being that works on my conscious and subconscious perspective so that my frequency is in alignment with the natural abundance of money that is already here. It's just about me aligning to that. And of course, if you feel like there won't be any more, there's a little bit of energy of like being resourceful. It's like, well, where do you have the container where people are giving you money? Right? And then are we talking about that container? It's very, very logical and resourceful on the base level as well. So we want to be combining these things. But there is always more money. And when you heal the idea that you won't be okay without it, knowing you're always okay, always safe, it becomes easier to change the mindset things, changing the stories. If we try to change the stories without changing the identity, that's when it gets tough because we just don't believe it. You know, it's like, okay, you're saying there's abundance of money, but like you didn't see my bank account. So it's like we want to transform our own subconscious stories with it, which then makes it much easier to make the set shifts. So again, those stories around being okay for that one, because the words I am afraid, I would associate that more with safety. Reassure yourself, you've always been all right. You've always made it through, but now you're living in a world where you don't have to live in scarcity anymore, and you're choosing to live in a world where you get to build your wealth, right? So amazing. So beautiful stuff. It's interesting to do this for me because I want to just like work with all of you. Like, I just want to talk to you about these things, but it's very helpful to hear the perspectives. So we're going to keep doing that. Did I skip one? Okay, Ryan. Ryan, Leslie, and then Ryan. So Ryan said perspective shift on self-blame of ending a relationship and move forward to enter the inner work. Okay, one, Ryan, sending you so much love. And two, like really, really honoring you because that's a tough thing to do sometimes. So really giving you so much honor for you to choose yourself, for you to choose to spend time doing the inner work, for you to choose to move forward in your life. It's not only a gift to you, but it is a gift to your partner or ex-partner. It really, really is. What something that I want to remind people of is that, oops, I didn't start the. So something that I want to remind people of is that relationships, it's going to sound so simple, but then I'm going to break it down. Relationships are never about just one person and how one person feels. If one person is feeling like something is right for them, then it is going to be for the greatest good of the partner as well. When it's for your greatest good and you are following that nudging in your heart and spirit that is saying, it is time to do this. And this is the step for you. When you are following your heart on that level, I promise every single one of you, it is for the highest good of the other person involved. Because you wouldn't even have the thought to leave the relationship to do that if it wasn't also for their highest good. If it was for their highest good to be in the relationship to do that and to be on the path for you, it was for their highest good and yours, it would be a different thought. You would be like, okay, let's focus on this together. You know what I mean? But the fact that you had that thought, that intuitive nudge, it is for the highest good of them as well. I remember the first time I was embodying this, it was with a relationship, and it was with my partner at the time that I hadn't gone full time in this business yet. It was just a dream. So everyone around me thought I was crazy. They're like, "You're gonna do what with people? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's not possible. Who does that?" You know, that's what everyone around me was saying because I wasn't doing it yet. So it was just a dream. I knew in my heart I wanted more. I knew I needed to do more deep healing work, and I knew in my heart I was like made for more. And my partner was a great being. He was awesome, but he wanted a very simple life. Like he wanted to live in his hometown in Pennsylvania and live a very simple life. And he just wanted a job that he can go home at 4 and go fishing. And that's a beautiful thing for a lot of people, right? It was such a confliction in my heart because I'm like, oh my gosh, this being is so beautiful, so special, but that is not the life for me. I am here to do huge things. It is just not the life for me. Also, I don't really like fishing because I cry when the fish gets hurt. So I'm very sensitive. So I have a hard time. No judgment against people who do it. I know I'm extreme in my sensitivity, but also it was hard for me anyway. But regardless, I knew in my heart that this wasn't for me. I could feel in my heart that I had to go do this thing. I had to step out of this relationship. No matter how much love was there, it was time to move on. And my heart was telling me. And I remember saying, because he wasn't really on that page and he was like, "What do you mean? I'll support you. Like you're going to be amazing. Like I believe in you." Like he didn't understand. And for me in my heart, I could feel so much. He wants a different life. He wants a wife with children. And humanity's my children. I don't think I want to have children. So like we just wanted different lives. I knew in my heart that it was something different for me. And I remember praying and I was just like, universe, God, it was like, how could something that feels so right for me, but so hurtful for another be the path I'm supposed to take? Like, how? Like, I don't want to hurt this being. And like, am I crazy for thinking this? Like, how? And I remember getting the information that I'm sharing with you now, that if it's for your highest good, Sarah, it is for his highest good as well. This universe has a divine order that people are brought together in perfect timing and they separate in times that are meant for both beings involved. It's never about one. It's a gift for both. It's a blessing for both, whether you're together or apart. And I remember getting that information. I'm like, okay, I'm going to choose to trust this because this is what feels most aligned. 2 months later, I have a friend of mine at the time. This was like my early 20s. So we were young and people talk like that at that age. Maybe people still do. But I had a friend at that time who was like, "Sarah, did you see his new girlfriend? Like, he has a new girlfriend. Do you think he was cheating on you?" Like, all of this stuff. And I remember looking at the picture and I was like, I knew her because he was from his hometown. And I remember my whole heart welling up and I was crying. And my friends were like, "Are you okay? No, you're so much better than her." Like, you know how friends who are teenagers talk like that? And I'm like, "No, no, no. I actually loved her. She's amazing. She has such a huge heart, and she is the one for the life for him. She is the one who's meant to be a mother of children and live a beautiful, simple life, who's going to devote herself to her husband and her children." And I was crying because the universe in that moment reassured to me that if it's for my highest good, it's for his. And that if I held on to that relationship and I was trying to be somewhere else and trying to be something else, I would have been holding him back from what was meant for him. Right? Boom, huge wake up call moment. I was like, oh my goodness. If I stayed in it, I would have been holding him back from what was meant for him, which they're still married and have kids to this day. So beautiful, right? It was 10 years later or something. So I want to remind you that if it's for your highest good, it's for theirs. And to honor yourself for trusting your heart and following that nudge that's on your heart, and to just send them off with blessings, knowing that they'll start to see, eventually they'll start to see that it's for their highest good too. And if you choose to play with the universe, say, show me, show me that it's for their highest good. I want to see it. I want to see that it's for their highest good too. You can ask for the evidence too, but trust that. Okay, so that's what I would share for that. Is that helpful for you? Awesome, amazing, honoring you big time, Ryan. You're right next to Aaron, so I said Aaron at first. I'm sorry. Ryan, honoring you big time. Okay, Christy says, we're doing good on timing. I'm gonna do a few more. Awesome. So there's one more. Perfect. So Christy said here, oh, Madeline has one too. Okay, we'll go to that one next. Christy said here, how do we hold that higher perspective in those quick, casual interactions with people who tend towards the lower frequency tendencies like complaining or judgment? Okay, so one, it's knowing that you don't have to subscribe to these things. Do you know what I mean? And also often a compassionate perspective will allow you to hold the higher frequency. Because instead of thinking like, oh no, I don't want that, or that's so like not the energy I want, or like, oh my gosh, why are they doing this? If we think of it in the energy of like, oh my goodness, I send them like to yourself, oh my goodness, I send them so much love. Because if they're constantly going into complaining or judgment, they're in a world of suffering. They're in that world of suffering. So much compassion can be very helpful, and being willing to just plant seeds, you know? Well, a judgment for another person, you might say something back. If maybe they judge another person, you might say something back and be like, well, I'm sure there's a reason that they're doing what they're doing. They're doing their best. Maybe they're going through something and that's why they're acting so weird, right? I'm thinking about like someone judging another person. If someone's complaining all the time, a little seed could be so powerful. Like a little seed of a higher perspective can be so powerful. So instead of thinking about that, like protecting yourself, I don't think you're doing that, but instead of thinking like protecting yourself or not wanting to dip into their energy, it's starting to hold the frequency of so much compassion, which automatically lifts the frequency. When we can have compassion for other beings, you'll notice you're free of like, sort of like taking on their energy. You know how people say, how do empaths not take on the energy of everyone they talk to? It's because compassion really creates this incredible level of knowing, like, oh, I feel for you. I have so much love for you, but that's not my reality field. We really get strong of like, that's not who I am, not my reality field. And I feel for you. I have so much compassion for you. And they're also really powerful beings that are learning important things even through complaining in that moment. So, what can be way more fun is starting to think of it like an experiment of seeing how good you can get at planting seeds. That's how I would look at that. Like play with the energy of like, ooh, I wonder what really lets this person shift, especially since you're in the improvement space where you serve other people, Christy, and you're here teaching other people. It's like, if you notice that one sentence shifts other people, you can go create a whole podcast episode then on that, or a whole YouTube transmission on that, because oh, this is reaching the hearts of people. So I would like you to also think of it, and since I know the work you're doing in the world as well, you can think of it as your own like treasure hunt of like what seed like really shifts the hearts of people, like what really lands for people, and know the art of planting one seed, like asking a question back that's a little more empowering, sharing one sentence that's just like one sentence of like, well, maybe it will work out. If someone's complaining, it's like, Well, I wonder how this is all happening for you in some way. Like, I wonder what you'll discover through this. I wonder how this is helping you in some way. I wonder, what do you think the opportunity is in this? Little questions, little sentences, little little seeds planted go such a far way, right? It's really, really powerful. So that's what I would share with that as well. And also, there's a little bit of like refinement of knowing that sometimes to cope and survive, people learn to match someone's energy. So there's a little bit of energy of knowing that you get to hold your own energy and be super compassionate while not dipping into their energy, right? So that's a skill to learn too. So if someone has learned to cope when they were young, to dip their energy into someone else's energy, then just the practice of being like, I know who I am. I feel for them, but this is my reality field. And we don't have to dip into the energy to connect with people. We can actually share an inspiring sentence back or just one question back that just opens the door to maybe see another perspective. Awesome. Okay. So, yes, Sharon, if you can spotlight when we go into one-on-one sessions, that would be awesome. Okay, let's see. Madeline said here, perspective shift. Awesome. How are we doing? Are we still live in the perspective shifts? Are these helpful to hear these different things? Are we still kicking? Okay. So Madeline said perspective shift of being in a long-term, long-distance relationship and loving my partner so much, but having a hard time being in this inconsistent world any longer. Okay, so for this one, I would explore what your idea about love is. Often, when someone's in a relationship with long distance, there could be some kind of identities around or ideas about love that's like, love isn't here. So, for example, I've had a client who was in a long-term relationship, and he was wondering why, like, she just wasn't really making it. This is different than you, but she was wondering why he wasn't really making time for her. And she's like, "What is going on within me that's like mirroring this experience of this long-distance relationship? Like, I want love that's with me." So that's when we went into, well, what did he learn about love growing up? When he was young, his dad left, but he knew his dad loved him, even though his dad left. So, what he decided about love is that even if they're not here, they still love me. And that's what love is. Love isn't here. So, what we did, it was actually a him. What we did is we went into this idea that he thought that love wasn't here, dissolved that subconscious narrative, let him know he is love. He is love. There's no way for it not to be here because he is it. He is love. When he started to be in the frequency of love, it was different. They weren't in love. You're saying that you two are in love, but it was a little different for him. For him, it was like, wait a minute, this isn't even the partner for me. She's not making time for me. This isn't even a partner for me. Like, what am I doing here? Why am I spending time with this? And he started dating people in his vicinity, in his area, because he knew love was right here. So I want you to explore your relationship to love or your relationship to being worthy of love. That could be it too. And start cleaning up underneath the surface. And one of the biggest practices, if you feel like, I've done healing work on these things and I feel pretty solid, then what I would invite you to practice is being in love. Like right now. Like what I would invite you to do is wake up in the morning and do a practice of being in love. And with the being in love, if it was inevitable that you two were going to live together in 2 weeks from now, how would you wake up today? Like, how would you really transform when you know that you two are together? So start tuning into that frequency because manifestation wise, which we'll have the becoming magnetic module in the mastermind too, but manifestation wise, what you're doing is you're tuning yourself more into the frequency of being with him by practicing being in love or her, I think you said partner. Okay. Um, okay, so her or him, whatever, doesn't matter. Being, alien, doesn't matter. So whoever you love is very, very welcome here. We are a very inclusive space. So your partner who's long distance, what we're gonna do to attune your frequency to it, one, we're gonna do the deeper self-reflection work. If there's any worth thing there, any ideas about love that get to clean up. Okay. So then what I'll have you do after you do the first self-reflection is practice being in love. I want you to wake up in the morning and imagine falling in love with life itself. If you have a pet around, you can start with like, oh, I love this pet. It's reminding me of being in love. I love this pet. Now you go hold the frequency. You practice being in the energy of love. Then you start playing into the realm of who would I be right now if I knew that we were going to be together 2 weeks from now, like full time? Like, how would I wake up in the morning? How would I walk? How would I talk? How would I live today? Well, perhaps you would live with a lot more excitement. Perhaps you would live with a lot more joy. Perhaps you would play so much more in your reality field and just relax because you're like, I know we're going to be together. It's okay. Which is attuning you to the frequency of it. Then you can start growing from that space and start really feeling into what would my day be like if this person was here now? Like, how would I actually live? What would my day be like? Now you're really becoming the you that's in alignment with it. So these are a cascade of some things I would have you self-reflect on and start processing. Amazing. Okay, Gabriel said, why? Stop. Reset. Start. Gabriel said, why do I, when I'm in joy, have a need to go out and spread it? Well, thank you. Please keep doing that. That is like the best. Like, please go spread that joy. We could all use it in the world today. Please continue doing that. And he said, and I've been seeing I'm magnetic to people who are not in a mood, also looking for stimulation from others by sharing. Okay, so are you saying, Gabriel, hi Gabriel, what's up? Are you saying that like when you're really, really joyful, you're going to spread it, you actually notice you attract people who aren't? Okay, well, one,
More
go
like
ahead.
I approach them, or I'm magnetically charged to approach them, not them come to me, I go to them.
Yeah, so you go to them, you just go up to someone and they're not in a mood and you're just there spreading that joy.
Something like that. I see it after the fact.
You see it after the fact. Well, is it something you want to change or are you just curious about it?
Curiosity is more like it.
Okay, okay. Because one, what a freaking beautiful thing. Like we could all use more of that. Like when we're in a mood and someone joyful just comes up to us and like blesses us with joy. It's like, thank you, more of this universe. So one, you're acting, I don't mean to be cheesy, but you're acting like a walking earth angel for people. That's like what you're doing. You're literally being an angel for people around you. And you can also just see a magnet of joy, whatever you resonate with. But I want to honor you. And I think everyone here wants to honor you for being that embodiment of joy and spreading that. Like, thank you. That is what this world needs the most. And there could be a couple reasons why you're magnetized to that. One, there is this energy in the universe that the universe brings the perfect people, the perfect places to support one another. So if there's something in your soul or in your being that is so happy to help other people, that is so happy to just be there for other people, then that would be exactly why your universe is inviting you, which is all you, is inviting you to walk up to that person who could need it the most. And what I would do is like really, really honor yourself for that because it's incredibly beautiful and we definitely need more of that in our world. So thank you. And on another level, if you ever want to also meet people who are also joyful, declare it. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to be this joyful today and I want to run into people who also enhance my own joy. Like, I just want to be like jumping up and down joyful with people today. Like, bring me some people too who enhance my joy. So, if you want to just play with it, you can also make requests out because remember, you are building your universe. But I'm sure there is some kind of agreement, something in you that wants to help other people, or you wouldn't be drawn to people who you could help with that joy. Is this helpful in terms of your curiosity? Yeah. Thank you, Gabriel. Please do more than that, more of that. And I know that you're a chef, right? Are you making pizza? Yeah. So one of the best things is to have a chef that's infusing our pizza with joy. Like, please go train every pizzeria to be joyful so that our food can be infused with that joy. Guys, the molecules of food change by the energy of who's preparing it and the intention they have. So it's like, put your pizzeria and where it is in the chat so we could all have some pizza that brings us joy. Right? Because that's something that we want. That's a gift that you're giving to people too and making their food. So thank you. Amazing. Okay. Leslie said, how do you know when it's, I'm going to answer this one too because it's just so good. How do you know when it's about your belief versus the other person's? Okay, it is always you. It's always you. So, okay, so this is what we want to share. It's always you and it's a co-creation. So it's not all you. Are you following? Because I don't want someone to go into the place of blame, like how Adriana's question before was like in a blame realm. It's like it's all you and it's a co-creation. So what we want to remember is that yes, it's going to be so reset start. So like yes, it's going to be a co-creation, which means it wouldn't be happening if both of you didn't have some kind of a frequency, some kind of an identity, story, we could call it belief, that is co-creating the experience. So instead of thinking like, how do we know when it's the other person's, rather keep going within and transforming yours. And when you transcend this, you're going to have a choice point. Either the other person is going to match you in the next level because you're going to be transforming. It's going to be an open doorway for the people around you to change. Just like how my, the cleaning person in my house was like, oh, no, my husband is different. My kids are different because she started changing. So, what can happen in moments that you're really transforming your own inner world is that someone can rise to meet you there. But what can also happen is that some people don't choose to do that. But what it will feel like for you is that when you're really transforming your inner world, it won't feel like such a magnetic attachment to someone when they're not changing. And it's more just like, I'm not playing this game anymore. Like, I'm not going through this cycle anymore. I'm not going through this realm anymore. I remember in a past relationship, with my partner wasn't really growing. He wasn't really working on himself, and he would keep cycling through the same thing. And for a while, it also triggered me. So I was in the cycle with him, right? But I kept healing, kept growing to the point where at one time I was not triggered one bit. And I'm sitting there watching him go through his own cycle. I'm not even saying anything. And he's just going through his own cycle. And I'm like, I am done with this. Like, no way, I cannot have this in my reality field anymore. And it was just, it's a pivotal moment, but it obviously relationships can be sad when we get into moments like that, but it really is a pivotal moment where we're like, wow, I'm free. I'm not attached to this. I'm just, it's time to move on. We're growing from this. So when we think about how do we know when it's your belief versus the other person's, it's always us. We are the creators of our reality field. And when we're in a relationship, it's a co-creation. But when you truly heal within, your reality field transforms. Then we get to ask the question, what am I available for? This is what sometimes people get tripped up on when they're doing a lot of inner work. Where they're doing a lot of inner work, someone's cycling through a lot of the things, it's old stuff, and they're like, I'm not as triggered by this, but it hurts, and I don't want this anymore. I am not available for someone to speak to me like that. I'm not available for someone to act like that in my world anymore. So, with the inner work, we also get to a state where when we start to see, wow, I'm not triggered by this, I'm not spiraling, it hurts because it's mean or hurtful, and I'm not available for this. So with the inner work, we also want to be asking the question, what am I available for? What am I allowing? Because that really allows us to start stepping into our power and making different choices. Is that helpful, Leslie? It's a good question. It's a tricky one. Like the mind, the ego so wants to be like, oh no, but like, look what they're doing. It's gotta be, you know what I mean? It's so tempting, which is why I always like to share the reminder on the simplest level of like, we really are the creators of our reality field. And when we shift, our reality field shifts. And then sometimes we ask the question, what am I available for? What am I allowing? Now a new level of our empowerment gets activated. Awesome. Okay. So whew, it's like a marathon, those. But I like them. I like doing them. I hope you guys enjoy them and get a lot from them. And it's something that maybe you can listen to on repeat whenever you're going through something and know we answered questions like that. Let me take a sip of water. And if anyone would like some personal support, I would love for you to raise your hand. Awesome. You can start raising your hands. And Sharon, while I take a sip of water, can you do the spotlighting? Leslie, what's up? It's so good to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you. Okay,
Amazing.
so
Welcome, welcome.
mine, which feels kind of ironic to being chosen, is about not being chosen or like wanted. Like I notice, um, like I left my relationship, like I moved out 4 months ago. It's been like 3 months. but I still noticed the same energy that I really had in it, which was like still wanting to be chosen or wanting to be wanted in some way. It was like I always wanted him to like choose me over like drinking or choose me over friends. And I can still feel it even being like outside of it.
Yeah.
And I and it then showed up in like during the relationship as then becoming like very like clingy and I guess what is labeled now as like anxiously attached sort of thing, which it hadn't ever before. So that's kind of like a new manifestation of probably a belief that I had already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. One, I'm sending you so much love because you mentioned you left the relationship. And two, this awareness, I'd love to bring it to the group right now for a moment and then come back to you in a moment too. But this awareness that Leslie just said is such key, where she said she felt it in it, but even when she's out of it, she still notices it coming up. This is because wherever we go, there we are. So we could think that getting rid of the person who we feel is causing it gets rid of it, but it's very fleeting until we truly heal what's there for us. And you're very, very self-aware. So you mentioned something about being chosen, right? And wanting to be wanted. And it was like this theme of like wanting him to choose you over alcohol or choose you over going out or like whatever the case, so Leslie's chosen. So if you think about the deeper identity with that, the world of words, what do you think Leslie is trying to feel by being chosen? That she's what?
I mean, wanted or worthy of good enough,
Yeah. Yeah, what
loved.
I'm feeling is like wanted and loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think about the energy of I'm not wanted, does that hit a core?
Yeah. More from like what I know about my childhood, not what I remember, but like um my dad and like my grandfather didn't want my mom to have me. So there's
Mm,
kind of like that. And then when I was born, I was really loud. I just screamed. They called me the baby from hell. They
I
literally like
remember that.
still
Yeah.
call me the baby from hell. And like my parents love me now and I know that. And it was like to them a joke. And my mom, because I cried for like 2 straight years, I had a babysitter just for me because my mom like couldn't handle that I gave her migraines.
Mhm.
Um, so and then I, learned to be quiet and kind of all of that and like people please and do enough to be wanted. So
Yeah.
my guess is it probably comes somewhere in there. I don't really
Yeah. I would
remember.
say it's beyond a guess. I think you nailed it.
Yeah, and I don't remember like as a kid feeling unloved or unwanted particularly, but I also don't remember like the majority of my childhood either.
Yeah,
So
it's okay. We don't, sometimes the subconscious protects us. We don't need to remember things just to remember them. What matters is what you just shared, right? And that the frequency is still present now. It's not always, I want to share this for everyone. It's not always important to get to the exact memory or exact cause. What matters is the frequency, and starting to explore where we might have developed it can be helpful. But what it's really, really about, what all of this about, is seeing the subconscious identity we're holding so we can see that it's not true and be free of it and lean into something different. So I'm not wanted, but what I'm also picking up on from what you shared is like a little bit of like shouldn't be here, a little bit of burden energy, like I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't exist, kind of deeper stuff like that.
yeah, and almost kind of having to like prove like being worthy. Like I've always been kind of like I got to do this and do that and get straight A's and do enough work.
Yeah.
Um
So if someone thinks they're not worth like not worthy as a part of this, but not wanted, like actually not wanted, and like the existence, I shouldn't exist. My existence isn't wanted because it's a little different than like, oh, I'm not wanted. I was picked last in gym class. It was like my existence wasn't wanted. And then when it came here, it was a burden because it was crying, which babies
yeah,
cry.
historically. Yes.
Historically, babies cry, right? Yeah.
If they're not, it's concerning, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wondering what's going on there. Okay. So if we think into the energy of I'm not wanted, Like I actually shouldn't exist, like my existence isn't wanted. Is that causing a feeling in you, or is it you're not feeling anything? What do you feel?
Definitely like a little bit of that like shouldn't exist and still and don't want to exist. I think comes
Yeah.
up like I've had a lot of health stuff and it wasn't like that I want to like be dead. I just don't want to exist. It's like this
Yeah.
weird, yeah, and so probably some of that
Yeah,
comes
because if
from
you
not
think
feeling like
about
I
the
should.
sub, yeah, and not some of it, it comes from that. Because if you think about my existence isn't wanted, think about what the cells of the body are listening to regularly.
That's literally like painful. Like when you say it, I'm like, ugh, it like gives me like a little like cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So take a breath with it for a moment. It's good to be with it for a moment and let yourself know the cringe is okay. The cringe is okay. We're all cringe sometimes. The cringe is okay. Okay, take a breath with it. Let yourself know you're okay to feel it and you're okay to feel right now. We want to give so much compassion for you because look how far you've come. You've raised your hand on a call to be chosen first, right? You're already creating healing from this. You left a relationship where you felt like you weren't chosen instead of staying in it and repeating the same cycle. So, one, I want to give you a lot of credit because you're already breaking free of this. It was already happening before this call started. You were already saying something's off here. We've got to change this. But what I want to remind you of is even though mom, I know I've worked with you before. I know mom is doing the best she could before she know better based on her reactions. Now, just because mom was having a hard time as a mother, maybe she was a bit depressed, scared of having a child, who knows what was going on. What is a lie about the idea that Leslie's existence is not wanted? What is a lie about that?
Well, I do exist.
So what does that tell us?
Someone had to have wanted me because they're,
Someone beyond someone, if you
something.
exist, if you exist, then this entire universe, Leslie, conspired for you to exist as you are right now. So beyond someone or something wanted me, the whole universe wanted you to exist right now. And where's the evidence of that?
Because I'm here.
Yeah. So is it true? Is it true? Is it an actual truth that your existence isn't wanted?
No.
No. And did your mom, who might have been scared, she might have been depressed, she might have been, who knows what she was going through at the time, even though it hurt, and we would never want any child to feel that way. But just because your mom felt that and said that, does it actually mean that your existence isn't wanted?
No. Especially because she's
No.
like obsessed with me now.
Exactly. Pure evidence of like,
But I think that
Leslie.
is out of what I do. That's like because of all the things I do. I know she loves me, but yeah.
Yes.
And my dad, like, my parents, I think, like me more in my adult ages, become more obsessed with me. Like, no.
Yes, and you're really funny. You got a great energy. I mean, look at this. We're dissolving an identity that created decades of something, and you're sitting here laughing, cracking jokes with me. You're awesome. You're an awesome being, incredible being. So, is it true that your existence isn't wanted?
No,
No. Has it ever been true?
no,
And what's the evidence of that?
because I made it here.
Yeah. Now, how has that shown up in your life? This idea that your existence isn't wanted. How has that shown up in your world?
Ugh, I mean, having a hard time having friends growing up, that not being picked in a group, being like wrong all the time, or being made to feel wrong, being made fun of for like because I got a wrong answer or because how I dressed, then kind of
Mhm.
choosing to be weird, like odd. Like I would literally go to school in pajamas, like straight up, not like a cute set of pajamas, like straight pajamas in middle school because it was like it was easier to just like find a way to be rejected and not wanted than like have it happen because of something, if that makes sense. Like control the
Yeah.
fact that I wasn't
Yeah. And
because I got made
it
fun
might
of.
Yes, and it might feel easier, but what's happening is it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the young version of you had no choice. Like
Yeah.
when we have identities, we're living in self-fulfilling prophecies. So if someone gets a job, like a great job opportunity, but they think they're a being who isn't worthy, they'll probably mess it up. Not
Mm,
because, not because of any other reason other than their subconscious and conscious mind is constantly proving who they think they are to themselves. So now we can understand the energy for Leslie of really wanting to be chosen by someone and really wanting that energy of like, if they choose me, then my existence will matter, right? That my existence, it'll prove that I should be here because I'm loved then, right? So we can understand that energy of like really wanting someone to choose you, but also matching someone who isn't, because it's
mm,
reinforcing, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of reinforcing that old idea. But is it true that your existence is not wanted?
no,
Why not?
clearly.
Clearly, very wanted. Such a
They're obsessed
beautiful
with me.
thought.
Because I'm here existing
Yes.
and my dogs are borderline obsessed with me.
Yes. And you have a whole farm you're taking care of. You are very,
Yes.
very wanted.
The sheep are also obsessed with me, so yes.
Exactly.
I am not invisible to them like I was. Like I was invisible in high, like literally people would sit on me in high school. Like
Yeah.
they did
Yeah.
not see me. Oh, I didn't see you there.
Yeah.
And
Because
that
your
was safer
existence
though.
wasn't wanted. It wasn't,
Yeah.
it shouldn't even be here. Like it shouldn't even be here. So it's not, right? But
Yeah.
that's not the world you have to live in anymore because now you see it and can transform it. Because is it true that your existence isn't wanted?
No.
No. So, Leslie, right now, and I want you to take a breath into your body and get present in your body for a moment. If you were to step into a world right now where you knew without a doubt it's not true that your existence isn't wanted, it never was. So, you get to step into a world where you are free of that. What world becomes available to you?
I mean, one where I am chosen and I am supposed to be here, but
Mhm.
then that's also kind of scary because I'm like, what am I even doing?
Mhm.
I feel it almost causes me to feel like more lost. That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah, so let's start with I am chosen. I am meant to be here and breathe into that for a moment. Of course I'm chosen. I am meant to be here. The entire universe conspired for me to exist. Take a breath into that. Let that land for a moment. It's not true that your existence isn't wanted. The entire universe conspired for you to exist. You are wanted. You are chosen. And the first step is for Leslie to choose her, which you already have started that, but it just gets to land at a different level as you step into a world where the entire universe conspired for you to exist. Of course, your existence is wanted. Now it's even needed for these animals around you, these spaces around you. It's enjoyed, right? Your parents have become obsessed with you because they enjoy you, right? Okay. So take a deep breath into that and tell me how that feels in your body first. Before we go into the next thing, tell me how that feels in your body first.
It still feels like kind of hard to accept. Like I want to almost um I want to say like intellectualize it, but to some extent be like, well, there's like 8 billion people on the planet.
Mhm.
So like how am I to me, then I get into like just biology. If that
Mhm.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
but there's 8 billion people on the planet and you are one of 8 billion. That's how special you are. You know, how people say I'm one in a million. Like, no, you're not. You're one in 8 billion. That's how special you are. With 8 billion people, 8 billion in the size of this universe is nothing. It's nothing in the entirety of this universe. But you are so special that you were conspired to exist. But you don't have to compare it to anyone else. Everyone here right now who was given the gift of life is meant to be here. You are meant to be here. And you are one in 8 billion. And that is one of the most beautiful things in the world because you are so unique, so special. And this entire universe conspired for you to exist as you are. And it's okay if it's tough to accept. This is something you start to let land over time, right? Where you practice knowing that now I live in a world where the entire universe conspired for me to exist. So how does that me show up today? How does that me show up maybe more, even more present with my animals? Because I know how important I am to them, right? How does that me treat myself? How does that me feel in my body? A body that knows it's meant to be here right now. It's meant to exist. How would that body might start feeling a little differently?
Taking care of myself, like prioritizing myself more too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
taking
because
care
you're
of myself, but like not out of like shame and like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that,
Mhm.
but like I get to.
You get to, because you're meant to be here. You're meant to exist. So you're going to honor your body differently, for sure. And any remnants of any health things, when you know you are meant to exist, will start dissolving away. This is healing the body on new levels at this moment. Stepping out of that world, it's okay if it feels tough to accept sometimes. The monkey mind will come in and try to be like, but this, but that. But that's seeing the world through the old lens that's trying to reinforce itself. And that's where you start tuning more into the lens of course, my existence is wanted. It's why I'm here. Now, the beautiful thing is there's no pressure around it. You don't have to go change the world in a moment. However, what you do get to start doing is changing your world to start walking as someone who's meant to be here, who matters, who's loved, who's chosen. You were chosen with the gift of life. Out of all, you're saying 8 billion people on the planet, but out of all of the sperm, however many sperm exist, anyone know the number who's really you're biology based? Do you know the number?
Something crazy. It's
I think it's something pretty crazy,
it's
100,000, something
really
like that.
wild. And
Out
it's
of
actually the egg that
100,000,
chooses.
yes, out of 100,000, you exist. You are the one who made it. You are chosen. You are meant to be here, right? So what I want you to do is start tuning into that world. Start falling asleep as that you, start waking up as that you, and start feeling into it. When the doubts come up, when the monkey mind starts playing in the old doubts, it's okay. We are a big enough being to hold space for that. It's just not what we're gonna choose. We're not gonna choose to believe in anymore. It's like in this work, we're not dissolving away all doubt or all limitations. That's actually not what we're doing. We're integrating them. We're becoming a big enough being to know that the insecurities, the limitations, they can play. It's just now we're a big enough being that we're not choosing them anymore. We're not believing in them. They can have a seat at the table, but the one who knows I am meant to be here is the one who runs the show. And of course I'm chosen. I'm here. This landing, Leslie?
Yeah.
And what are you aware of now as we talk through this?
Um, what I like did not expect was like a sense of like guilt because like I active like so here I'm here and like my mom did choose to have me and then I literally actively chose not um to have kids, and so I think there's like a guilt of like here I exist but then I chose to like not have that soul or whatever and come into this world. And I think there's like a guilt with that I didn't know was there.
Yeah, it's okay. Let yourself breathe through it. It's all right. The choice between birth, life, and death isn't just on you, Leslie. That soul that might have come here made the same decision you did, the same way what's best for me is best for all. It's like how I would talk to anyone who might have had a miscarriage, any of that. It's not the mom's fault. It's not on the mom. This is so much bigger. Life and death, Leslie, is so much bigger than our personalities' decisions could ever make. If that soul that was going to come was like, oh, yes, I actually do want to be here, you would have had something in you that was like, oh, no, we're doing it. Right? But that soul and you simultaneously decided, not yet, or not now, not for now. And it's okay. One of the things that you're doing with the deep healing work you're doing is if you choose to ever be a mother is such a gift. And if you choose to not, it's a gift to this whole planet because your frequency is transforming this world. So let yourself breathe through it and give yourself the permission to know it's okay. You're doing your best. It's okay. And if you'd like, if you feel connected to it, you can connect to that soul of the baby and ask it, ask it yourself. Get the evidence yourself. But I promise you, it's a mutual decision. It's not just on one being. It is the entire universe saying, okay, we were feeling this out, but the timeline decisions and the choices not working out for this time. I don't know, you might meet someone in 2 years and fall in love and decide to have a baby, and the soul's like, okay, now I'm ready to come in. Right? It's
Much
so
better
much
situation.
much better situation. Now it's time to come in. Ma, you had to clean up a few more things.
Looks
'Cause
way
we
more
were-
fun.
Yeah, way more fun. We're way better here. Yeah, so it's okay. Give yourself the permission to know it's okay. Let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel what you feel. But Leslie, it is okay. It's okay. It's beyond your just decision. It's a mutual decision. And it's the universe's decision, right? God's decision too, right? Is that helpful to share with you?
Very.
Yeah, take a breath through it. Connect to the earth. Let it support you in transforming this. We are all doing the best we can. What happened is okay. You learn, you grow, you trust that that soul made the decision with you. It was mutual. You made the decision together, and you are meant to be here. So now you get to learn to walk as that instead of passing on the old identity and bringing a soul into that identity and passing that on. Well, bringing a soul into the idea that that could happen. What you're doing is you're cleaning stuff up too, right? I'm meant to be here. You are meant to be here. You are meant to exist. Your existence is so wanted, the entire universe conspired for you to exist. So can you go play into living in that world and seeing how that starts making shifts?
Yes.
Now it's a practice, okay? If any grief comes up, it's okay. Let yourself feel it. Remind yourself it's so much bigger than you. Trust your timing, trust your process, and trust your decisions. Okay? You're doing amazing. All right. Do you feel complete for now, Leslie?
Yeah, my dog. Stop petting him before all this hair comes off. Like over here, just like
The dog's like, what happened?
moving all the energy. He's like, oh.
Great, Leslie. I'm sending you so much love, and I'm so excited to see you in the mastermind as well.
Oh, I'm
to
so
continue
excited.
working
I
with
can't
you.
wait.
It's going to be
Thank
amazing.
you.
Sending you love, Leslie.
Thanks.
Amazing. Awesome. All right. That was so beautiful. August is here. Hi, August. Awesome. Okay. So please go ahead and let Ryan go onto the spotlight. Hi, Ryan. Welcome in. Hi.
Mute. Mic check. There we go.
Woo. Hi, Ryan. So
Hi,
what can
Sarah.
we do you for? What's going on in your world that you'd love support with?
Um, cool. um, Thank you for the perspective change, first off. I'm going through a lot with relationship wise. Just backstory wise, I realize that there's been patterns of my latest relationships that have been reoccurring, and it's come to that awareness of like the only thing I can change is me. So, um, this relationship ended. I really thought it was something that I would be able to separate and be able to work on myself and then come back to her to be able to be more honest, more centered, and be able to be more grounded in me.
Mhm.
But 3 days after 3 days after I asked for a 45-day no contact, she ends up getting engaged to her ex-boyfriend.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of shattering, but you know, changing the perspective on that and allowing that to be for the highest good, is allowing me to see that, like, hey, if she hadn't done that, I would have probably continued to pursue her and doing all this stuff just for her rather than for myself. So it's been the biggest part is the no contact is I'm having that self dialogue, those narratives where I'm having conversations internally where that's with nobody but me, so I'm trying to resolve that and then be able to main focus on this mastermind group. I have friends that have gone through it, that are highly encouraging me to make the dive. Part of my ego, is because I notice it's very woman populated. My ego is like, yeah, why don't you try to find a men's opportunity? So I was just looking into that, and thankfully my friends that have already done your course and such are like, well, let's dig into that, when it comes down to the fear of not letting women see my own fears and tears. Like that's not something that's that story, that's narrative that I've been telling myself, like, don't let women see me cry, don't let them see me be vulnerable, do
Yeah.
that privately, do that separately, and then be around men for that. So I've grown up as an only child and not been able to connect with men at all. So I did a lot of like men's coaching and masculinity and like being able to go down that road. So I'm at this other crossroad where, being able to be around femininity wouldn't be such a bad thing for me to experience, and I do love your podcast. I've been really digging into that just to kind of see um, the inner workings of how you're being able to express all these life-changing experiences, and I'm basically ready to sign up at this point, just being able to dive deep into that and trying to let that ego um, be okay with that. So there's definitely narratives that I can see that are showing up, and then just being able to listen to you even now and in my research, and I've tried to find other coaches that do what you do, and I love Peter Crone, but I'm not financially available for that kind of commitment yet. So um, I can commit to this, and just being able to see that kind of shift and see the tools. Um, Ultimately, it's like I want better relationships in my life. I want loving and meaningful relationships in my life, and I see how even with the last discussion, like going all the way back to my childhood, the dissociation of growing up in a family home that was not stable to be able to show love and such. So, um, but that's kind of where I'm at in this weird. I want to blame myself for the ending of that relationship, which has been the catalyst of growth. That I have the perspective of learning to accept that it's for the highest good. That even feels um, difficult to accept because it's like I want to have played a bigger part in all of it. I want to play God, and I want my ego to have the results the way I want it to be. Um, but being able to try and shift my identity on that, who I get to show up, and the best part is that I've come to realize that like the person I was in that relationship is still me, you know. Um, so being able to realize that that's still a part of me, I'm not losing myself because of that relationship. Um, it's more of a expectation that I was hoping to be able to have that conscious conversation with somebody, being able to address the triggers and address everything that happened. And I don't I don't get that. So it's like part of me is um, craving that and not willing to um, go through the acceptance phase of it just yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Over.
Well, one, Ryan, like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. I can tell you have done a lot of work because the way that you have self-reflected is so powerful. And just know, like, as you step into the world, and I'm so honoring you and your friends for mirroring that back to your initial thought of like, You know, this is women heavy. So like, will I really be supported as a masculine in this space, and that your friends invited you to go deep and that you did, and that you revealed like some of those stories there that are for sure connected to your ability to really talk through the triggers with your partners and your upcoming time. So I commend you, and I really honor you for being here. And this work is so needed. So just know, as much as you're wondering about like being held by the feminine and being able to like be yourself around the feminine, your presence is also creating so much healing for the women in the group. Like there were men, like there are always men in my group. And I mean, it's so funny now that I'm looking back, when you introduced yourself in the group, who the first person who responded was Matt, you know, a man who's in the group and who's in the next round. So just know you won't be alone in that space. It is more female heavy, but you won't be alone in that space. Mark's in it too. Mark's in it. Aaron's in it. So some of those people are on this call right now. So just know that you'll be held too. And I'm so happy that you're leaning in to the world of knowing that you get to be seen by the feminine, and it's safe to do so. When you were talking, Ryan, it brought tears to my eyes. And this is being held by the feminine. We feel, right? We'll show you how to feel
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's the gift of the feminine that we open up the space for the masculine to be able to feel what they feel without judgment. It really is, for all the women listening, this is a gift of the feminine for the masculine around us. Not about man and woman, about which energy that person's holding and what they're tuning into, right? Okay, so that the fact that that was something you're leaning into, powerful. And I do want to mention Peter Crone. He's amazing. He's been a mentor of mine for like 7 years now. So you'll see a lot of interlays in our work. However, I always share with people that we think it's about finances, but it never is. Like if you were meant to be in his, it just would have been easy for you to pay for. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
the universe knows what we're wanting right now. And I'm not surprised that one of your big things is being held by the feminine. Maybe you do take his eventually, you know, and see the masculine side of these things, but it just all of it, so many synchronicities. So I just wanted to honor some of the things you said first, right? And for today, do you feel like you wanted to share these things, or would you love to be able to go into some of these patterns that you mentioned, like the idea of like not wanting her to see you cry, that you need to do it on your own, and some of the patterns in the relationship you want to heal? Or did you want to talk back and forth about a few of these things just conceptually?
Um, we can dig. I'm a little pressed for time, so if you
Okay.
will, yeah. So I will be
Yeah, what
honest with
time do
that.
you have? We can make it quicker then instead of going so deep.
I gotta be leaving before my time is Pacific time, so it's 2:40 now. So I need like 15 minutes. So
Okay, so let's make it a little more conceptual. And
okay,
when you join, or if you join, when you join, I don't know how far you are along.
I'm at the login. Like, just need to hit enter.
Definitely go into these
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
right?
So
We'll definitely have time to go into these things. Okay, so for now, you mentioned, let's go into one of them for now. So you mentioned
mhm,
don't let women see you cry and be
mhm.
vulnerable, and do that with men. Like do that, make sure you just do that with men. What is your idea? What did you learn about that that made you think that that's how it is? What are your stories around that?
Mm, it's been a narrative that I've heard other men in the other realms of masculinity being able to kind of trope. That's been the um story that's kind of said a lot that I've kind of identified, and I've heard it even before the coaching. There was a
Yeah.
man in the military just before I joined the military. There's a man that had been retired. He was an author. He had very somebody I could look up to and admire, and even he said, "Don't let him see you bleed. You know, if you're in feeling defeated or anything like that, be willing to talk to somebody, but being able to keep like the family and everything else separated so that you show up in more of a stoic way, and it's somebody that I admired and I took that to heart. Um, and My father passed away when I was 7. So um losing him at such a young age, I know that my distortion of masculinity and what it means to be a man has always been like the goal to try to figure out. I've always been trying to figure out what it means to be a man because I didn't have that modeled in a healthy way or at all growing up. So going into that um, fear of not knowing what it means to be a man and having to kind of uncover that. I've spent plenty of money and invested plenty of time to try and sort that out because I didn't want to feel inadequate for not knowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So powerful, Ryan. I can tell how much work you have done, truly. And I can tell you're eons further beyond what you even perceive that you are in knowing. Like, this is an old story that you don't know because you do. And who knows, even your father passing, sending so many blessings. And I'm so sorry that you went through that at that time. But even your father passing, I'm sure it was something in your soul that was like, and his as well, that was like, you know what? We're not going to model his way. You're going to design your own. Like, you're here as a soul to design your own way. Because to be honest, there's not much in the form of masculine or feminine. We are all developing that. What does it mean to be a woman, not a woman, man, whatever people associate with? What does it mean to be none of those? Like, our world is redefining these things together. So you get to define what being a man is for you and trusting that. And that's such a powerful place to be, that you get to trust that and step into that world in a different way. Now, on one level, I want to keep this fast because I know you're there's a time constraint. So on one level, it does make sense that a lot of these men in the coaching industry and self-development say, don't let them see you bleed. The masculine in traditional forms of relationships, guys, okay? We're not segregating, it's just traditional forms. So the masculine is very much so often the being who's holding the space. The feminine is going to be the waters. Man or woman, it just depends on which one's tuned into which. But someone who's traditionally masculine is going to be holding the structure of the space, creating a safe space. The feminine is going to be moving around with the waters in that space, but being free to be held. She's going to create a home. She's going to create the emotional safety, the emotional level of safety, while he creates the structure, right? So when we think about that, when a female's not integrated and she's not aware and can see a man cry, it can cause her to doubt. But this is very much so. It froze. I don't know if you froze or I froze. No,
I'm
it
here.
froze. Okay, you're here. So this is what I was saying before, is that this is a very unhealed form of humanity because man or woman, we're gonna have emotions. We're gonna have feelings. And one of the biggest gifts for the feminine is to open your heart, Ryan, to know that the container, your relationship is a safe space for you to feel. That is a very feminine role as you hold the logic, the structure, and do all of these things, right? But when it comes into a very integrated relationship, you're going to get to start to feel that. But it will take you rewriting those narratives to know, I get why those exist. And I get why someone would say that to not bring it into the family. But what happens when you suppress how you really feel? What actually happens? What shows up in your life?
Dishonesty, you know. Um, that's the ultimate part is I can't be honest with who I am because I can't show where I'm struggling at.
Yeah. Yeah. So if there's dishonesty and not being who you are, then is there a relationship?
No, because I'm wearing a mask of what I think I need to be, not who
Yeah.
I am.
So this is why so many relationships in the past haven't worked, because men thought that they weren't okay to feel and it wasn't okay for them to feel, so they weren't being who they are. And then the feminine is crying out saying, I just want to connect with you. And they're like, what do you mean? We're together every day. It's not about that. It's about the depth of him being who he really is. So is it effective to not be you fully in the relationship?
No, no.
And what would happen if you were free to be you in a relationship? What would that start to feel like?
It'd feel freeing. Ultimately I'd feel content being comfortable in my own skin, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So what I would work on, what I would self-reflect on for you is practicing to be in the world where you're free to be you. Your idea of masculinity can change based on what feels in alignment for you. You can trust that.
Hmm.
But you're free to be you, and it's safe for you to express how you feel. I'm free to be me. It's safe for me to express how I feel. Start feeling into those and see what comes up, see what shifts, and see what opportunities you have to practice that. Because the reality field, when we start playing in different realities, the reality field will start mirroring to us opportunities to practice. So I'm free to be me. I'm safe to express how I feel. Also, redefining vulnerability as strength. I'm giving you like a fast
Yeah.
takeaways because I know you've got
I'm
to
writing them
run.
down. Yeah, writing them
But
down.
redefining vulnerability as true strength.
Okay.
Being vulnerable is one of the strongest things we can do. And what's ironic about it is once we're okay being vulnerable, we're not vulnerable anymore. True vulnerability is when we're not okay with being vulnerable, hiding who we are because we're not okay with being vulnerable, which is one of the most vulnerable states to be. So redefining vulnerability as strength, I'm safe to express how I feel, I'm free to be me. Starting to leaning into those worlds and see what comes up there and see how little things would change in your past relationship if you had those identities. Start to reflect on how some things start to change as you lean into those. I know this is quick. Give it time to integrate, lean into those things. You can update us and ask me any questions in the chat. I know we've got to run, but also in the mastermind, you're probably gonna break free of these things in like the first few weeks.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. Like
Yeah.
people break free in the first few weeks, and then they're like, okay, now I guess I play. We'll see what happens now. The things I came in for are resolved. So now let's
Yeah.
explore what else is here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, amazing. Do you have any other questions for me in the last minute that you have?
No, that is plenty to digest for the time being, and I'll see you in the mastermind course.
Amazing, Ryan. I'm so
Mm.
excited to welcome you in. Thank you for being here, and I'm so excited to get to know you more and work with you more.
Yes.
You're going to add so much to this space already. You already have. So thank you for being you. Thank you
Yeah.
for being here.
Thank you. Take care,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thank you, Ryan. So awesome. Powerful. Amazing. It brings tears to my eyes when I hear men getting to talk about their emotions because it's so needed on this planet. It is just so needed. The healing for men, the healing for women. Oof, so needed. So I just appreciate it so much. Sharon, can you bring Madeline up and then we will wrap it up for the day? Madeline, hi. Good to
Hi,
see you. Good to talk to you.
you too. I'm honored, truly. It's so perfectly aligned that this has been such a relationship heavy conversation and chosen and all these words that have been swirling around my mind for the last week, but also longer than that. So I today wasn't going to work and I made it work. And so I'm so happy that I did because it's been really aligned and I have a notebook full of really powerful notes. So I'm stoked on that.
Amazing. Thank you for making it work.
It really does matter.
Yeah, thank you for being here and thank you for making it work and thank you for sharing that. It means a lot. So what can we do for you today, Madeline?
Yeah, so on the relationship theme, just kind of going off the question that I had asked before. So um, the relationship that I've been in, he works like 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, 1 month on, 1 month off. We've tried a lot and we've been dating for the last 5.5 years. And it's getting to a point where it's just, I mean, I'm working with Carrie. So, I've done a lot of up leveling and, a lot of shifting with this. And it's just kind of coming to a point where I'm like, I don't know. I call it like putting glitter on shit. Like you can't just like keep making it better no matter how much you try. And I'm at this point, like I said, where I'm so torn because I adore my partner so much, and the only problem that we really work through that's really heavy is this schedule. And of course, like it could be as easy as, oh, just get a new job, but it's his livelihood, it's his passion. He works on tugboats, he's a captain. So, he has his own finances that he works at this job because he's passionate about, but also because it helps take care of his finances kind of quicker. And I was kind of laughing because I don't remember who you said it with in today's session, but my dad was very much unavailable in my childhood, and I'm now in a relationship with someone who is like the same exact situation as my dad was when I was little. And I appreciated that perspective because it's a choice point. Like I'm in this because I get to become free of the pain that I had with my dad. And, you know, being in this, I really am trying to work through it, but it's, runs really deep in my heart. And it's just, I don't really know what to do anymore. And it's like ending the relationship doesn't resonate with me. But he's coming home tonight, which is why I was like not gonna raise my hand, but I was like, I'm gonna raise my hand because I haven't seen him in 4 weeks now, and we have to have a conversation. And I need to like get out of this swirl and get some clarity in my heart and how to orchestrate these conversations with him because I have to be free from this loop cycle of like missing him and then he's home and then it's this and it's that. I feel like I just don't have the balance that I feel like I need. Um, and like I said, I'm just putting a lot of glitter on shit. So I'm trying to assess the situation on my end here.
Wow, Madeline, I think the last time I talked to you was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was in Florida and now I'm in New York. When I told you at the time, I was like probably going to move to New York, and here I am.
Here you are. So I just want to honor you because you are at a whole new level in your confidence, the way you talk, the way you share about yourself, your self-reflection. So the growth and the transformation is radiating from you. So I just wanted to honor that. It's
Thank
amazing.
you. I received that very much.
Yeah, and thank you for being here and expressing and what you're feeling. I just so empathize with that and know what it's like when my relationship was also long term in the beginning, so it's close to my heart as well. I know what it's like to really miss someone and just want to be with them. And I could imagine it's quite a lot from growing up with that, right? Okay, so do you want to be with him?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you want to be with him?
Yes, I do.
So what is it time to transform then?
I just feel like something has to change with his schedule. And I mean, he's open and willing. Like he does not want to lose me, and I don't blame him. Um, but and I'm very grateful that he has such a higher awareness and an open perspective on it. I think a lot of it is he's scared, you know, it's his path that he's chosen, and in the maritime industry, you're kind of locked in. It's not as easy to, you know, take certain jobs in it. I think it's like I need him to step up and like understand, but also like I can't rely on what other people do with their lives and like my happiness. And I
Mhm.
no longer want to play a victim to my circumstance. Like I'm on a absolute mission in this lifetime on earth to get rid of victimhood mentality that has run really deep in my lineage. And
You're doing great work. You're at a totally different level than a few years ago. Like, my goodness, you're doing freaking great work.
I'm really trying, like very much so. So I appreciate that. Um, I I know that I have work that I can do behind this. Like there's definitely, you know, I call them like little ditties that I can clean up that I am not because I'm lazy or, you know, whatever reasons that I have. But yeah, I like
Let me help you with that.
coming up.
Yeah, you were mentioning the empowerment piece. So do you mind if I jump in to
Go
start
for it,
supporting?
girl.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so you mentioned something big because you said you are here on a mission to not be in victimhood. So I want to ask you the question in your truest sense of power. If you remember that your reality field, him or not, your reality field is mirroring to you the deepest parts of you all the time, and you're truly empowered of I am the creator of my reality, then what gets to change?
The way that I view all of this.
Yes, which right now, how are you viewing it?
Like it fucking sucks. Excuse my French, everyone.
Yeah. And what's tricky about things like this, August like that. What's tricky about things like this is that anyone in a relationship could agree that if their partner isn't there for 4 weeks, that would fucking suck. So that's the tricky thing about things like this that can tempt us to go into victimhood. But let's really anchor in your power at this moment, Madeline, because we can empathize with the fact that it sucks and you want it to change. Now let's go even deeper in your empowerment. I wanted to ask that question differently because before, when I said what needs to change, you mentioned he needs a different job.
Right,
Now you
right,
mentioned that you get to really shift what's
right.
going on within you, like what you're making it mean, which is that it fucking sucks. So yes, we can make it mean it doesn't suck, but your feelings feel like it does.
Mhm.
So what do you think Madeline decided about herself or love from the experience of dad coming and going? What did she learn from that experience?
That it comes and goes.
That love comes and goes? Yeah. And
It
how did
doesn't.
Madeline feel about that? It doesn't stick around.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. And it is like beautifully wild that it's like almost the same because when he's home, I like put a lot of the stuff that I have focused on kind of on the back burner and I try to do maximize every last second because I have, 19 days with him home. So, and then then I have to start back at zero and then I start resenting him. But really, it's like I'm not choosing myself, I'm not putting myself on priority. So that's my homework when he comes home to myself, shout out Carrie, that I am working on to stay consistent without, because I don't want to resent him off of things that I'm choosing
Yeah.
literally not to
But
do.
you have no choice when you think love comes and goes because that puts us in a fight or flight with love. It makes us attached.
Right.
Right? Because if we think we're going to lose it any second, what would we do? We would try to hold on. So
Right.
one, that gives so much compassion for yourself because it's not because you're lazy. You mentioned before things like this. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because it's because you had an idea that love comes and goes.
Mm,
And I'm
yeah.
very curious what's going to happen when you shift this. He might come home, and so please tell us, because he might come home as you shift this and be like, you know what? I got a different job. You know what I mean? Because you're really shifting the idea that love comes and goes. So you learn that from being a kid with dad, that love comes and goes, right?
Hmm.
And I can just imagine what that must have been like as a little girl for her dad to leave and then come back and
Hmm.
leave and come back, right? Do you think that little Madeline made that mean anything about her? Or was it about love?
I think I felt like I wasn't a priority in my dad's life to
Mhm.
for him to, choose a different job. It's like quite literally a like very similar situation. And I
Yeah.
have to say as like a mini thing is I literally moved to New York to help him with his health. So I'm living here
Mm.
now with my dad and my partner, and my dad is able to see how much it causes me pain to have my partner come in and out
Wow.
of my life. So the amount of healing that is happening is wild.
It's wild. You're doing some work,
Oh.
girl. Wow, generations of karmic work you are doing right now. You're amazing. Wow, dad's healing, you're healing, he's healing. A lot, a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So this idea that love comes and goes, and young version of Madeline decided that she must not be a priority. But did dad leave because Madeline actually wasn't a priority?
No, he just chose to work to for all of the reasons that he had to.
Yeah. And he had his own subconscious identities and narratives that made that position like what he needed to survive and to perpetuate those things.
Yeah.
But did it actually mean that Madeline wasn't a priority?
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Why do you
And
think
I
dad
am.
even had a job?
What'd you say? I'm
Because
sorry.
why do you think dad even had a job?
Oh, to support me. I'm an only
Yeah.
child, so
Oh, there you go.
and my dad like literally loves me like more than anything in the world.
It's beautiful. So you are a priority, aren't you?
Very much so.
Is it true that you're not a priority?
Not to my dad. Oh, I mean, or to my partner. It just feels that way because of the inconsistency and how it affects the balance in my life, which is
Yeah.
obviously for me, but
Yeah. And we're going to keep cleaning that up. Is it true that you're not a priority?
no.
No. Is it true that you're not a priority?
No.
So then what are you?
I mean, I'm the light of both of these men's life.
That's very different than not being a priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a blessing. You're a blessing. So did dad not have a job where he was home all the time because of Madeline?
No.
No, he was doing what he thought he needed at the time to support Madeline because you're such a priority, right? Okay. So we also empathize with the hurt, but we're going to clean up the two layers that were co-creating this experience. So are you not a priority?
No.
And what becomes available to you are when you remember you are a priority.
I guess just the feeling of how deeply loved I really am.
Yeah. Did your dad's ever love go away because he wasn't there?
No.
So is it true that love came and went all the time when you were young?
No.
No. Has your partner's love ever gone in the past 5 years of him coming and going?
Ab- Absolutely not.
So is it true that love comes and goes?
No.
And why else is it not true that love comes and goes?
Um, I don't know.
Where is that saying you think love comes from? If you think it comes and goes when dad comes and goes or your partner comes and goes, where is that saying that you think love comes from?
Like, where do I think that the love comes from?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the way that they support me when they're not around.
Okay, beautiful. So where are you thinking it comes from? Who did you say?
Like my dad, I guess I'm a little
Yeah,
confused. Yeah.
them. You're
Yeah.
thinking love comes from them.
Right, right.
Yeah, which is saying what about love?
Is that it's always around?
Yeah, it's always around because now your dad is around, but that would break down if you think that they're not there for a moment.
Right.
But what's a lie about the idea that love is only there when dad is there?
Is that it's also around when he's not or when he
Yeah,
is
why? Where does love truly exist?
within me.
Yeah, you are love.
Hmm.
So can it come and go?
No,
Why not?
because I'm love.
Can you breathe into that again? I am love.
I am love.
And what does that feel like?
Special.
Yeah, I am love. So can love come and go if you are love?
No.
No. And if you are love and you're a light in these men's lives, then how does that start feeling different about this circumstance? How do you just start to feel a little different about it?
I guess it, I don't want to say this out loud, but I guess it just means that it doesn't change whether they're here or they're not.
Yeah. Now, could you choose to want him to be here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's coming from such a different place of empowerment. Can you feel that?
Yeah,
And you saying it out loud, even though you didn't want to, is such a representation of how you're already embodying that next level of empowerment.
I know it's here for me to, it keeps recycling because I'm at the next place of awareness to get it. And that's,
Yes.
I raise my hand because I'm so, so passionately ready to feel through this because I do want to be with this person.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And now you get to be that the love that you are with him.
Mm,
And now you get to hold the frequency of knowing that love cannot come and go.
mm,
I am love. And when it goes, it doesn't mean I lost love because I am it. I am love. And that I am a priority. And then coming and going doesn't make me not a priority. I'm a light in these men's lives. And
mhm.
I am love. Love cannot be lost because I am it. It's here. It's always here. It's always around. I am love. So now from that energy, let's see what happens with the frequency change and deciding that I am love. I want you to more play into the energy of I am love. It cannot be lost. It cannot come and go. I am it. I am a priority. Them going doesn't mean that I'm not. I am a priority. I'm a light in these beings' lives. I am love. Is all around me, cannot be lost. When they go, they don't take their love with them. It's still there. It's still present. Always has been. Then from that space, when you really feel that anchored in, I want you to practice into that. I feel like you've already let it in. How do you feel now? Do you feel a bit lighter?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very receptive. I can tell you've been doing great work with Carrie. She's amazing. I'm so happy you've been working with her. So from this energy of I am love, it cannot be lost. It cannot come and go. I am it. Now, when you feel ready, you get to play into the energy of, and I would love to start a life where he's here with me. I'm so excited for the moment that we get to really be in the physical with each other all the time. Or maybe not all the time. I mean, that's a little much for anybody, but most of the time.
Really.
Right? But can you see how that's coming from such a different energy than the energy before?
Yeah, absolutely.
A different level of empowerment. And it also gives him the freedom to work that out on his own instead of the energy of like the ultimatum energy, which
Totally. I
is
mean, it
like,
puts pressure on him, which is gnarly. And I'm, again, from a conscious partner standpoint, I'm not trying to give him, yeah, the ultimatums
yeah,
like for someone else
yeah,
when he has to do what he has to do, which I understand.
yeah. Which makes you such a magnet to him being like, what am I doing? I want to be here with her. I'm going to look up some other jobs.
Yeah.
Or the energy. I mean, if that's what you're choosing, that's what you're choosing. But even if he stayed in the job for a little bit longer, right, you would start existing in a totally different world where it's not such like chaos of like, okay, when he goes, now I'm grieving and now I have to get back into things. It's like, oh, he's here and he's going to be back and we're okay and we're in love and we'll be okay no matter what because I am love. So then you're more stable in the environment. But if you want to create your reality from that powerful state, now you get to tune into I am love. It does not leave. It's not coming back right now. Of course, I want to be with him. And I would love to for us to be together now
Mm.
without the back and forth. So can you
This
play into that energy and see what happens?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I know there's no silly questions here, but when I say I am love, I love it. I feel it. I said it makes me feel special, but I feel I'm totally calling myself out now, which is great. But I feel like I could practice embodying that more so it really feels right. And not that
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right, but I don't want to say like how do you embody more love or more self-love, but what would you say to that?
Yes. So the question is great, and I'm going to give a very tangible answer for a practice that you can do. So I'm going to give you a very tangible answer. But when it comes to before, the reason why it felt like something you couldn't feel is because there was an idea that love could come and go. So the
Mm,
way that you were functioning from was a state of like, I feel like I am love when I'm caring for my dad, or I feel like I am love when my partner is here. Like it was very contingent upon their presence.
mm,
So that's why it feels foreign to be like, but what do I do? How do I know I am love? So
right.
one, it's just going to start being available to you because you've dissolved away what made you think it wasn't. Okay, so when you step out of this call and you play into the energy of I am love, it's just your essence. It's not even something you have to try to do because
Yeah.
it's something you're remembering. It's something you're tuning into now that the idea that you're not has fallen away or that
Mm,
it could be taken away has fallen away. So it's just going to start becoming more available as you walk in this call because you are it, right? You are it. You don't have to try to be it. You are it.
no,
Now, from another level, to support you with embodiment, the question I would start using for you is what would someone who loves themselves do? Or what would someone who is love do? How would love look at this? How would I see this through the eyes of love? So that's starting to ask yourself questions to give yourself the viewpoint of starting to look through the eyes of love, which is what you are anyway. But what would someone who loves themselves do? What would someone who is loved do? What would someone who's looking at this through the eyes of pure love look at this like? Are these helpful questions you can start asking to
Yeah.
start
Oh,
feeling
yeah,
into it a bit more?
for sure. I mean, I know I'm loved. I love myself so much. I love to share my gifts. I love so many things. So it's just when it comes back to me, I can see I have a little bit of cleaning up to do.
Yeah, and it's going to be so much easier than you think. Like, and we all do, you know what I mean? I'm always finding stuff that I get to heal and transform, so you're not alone in that. And
Yeah.
it doesn't diminish all the beautiful work you've already done. It's like we always are doing this. Like at every new expansion of a reality field, we're clearing out subconscious limitations, redefining identities, and upgrading. So just know you're doing amazing. And with the little bit of cleaning up, it's like it's going to be even easier than you think because you've dissolved away the thing that used to make love contingent on someone else.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Amazing.
Mm.
Great, Madeline. So do you feel complete for now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like a big weight is lifted off my shoulders, and I'm actually excited. I'm excited to work on this.
Yeah.
It feels good because it feels like it will transmute so much more in my life because I have let this be like a seemingly setback, or like, something I have to keep overcoming, and I'm looking for the higher perspective and the freedom through it, and to not lose someone who means so much to me. So I'm willing to do what it takes, and this is easy.
Yeah, this is easy. And it's not so
Time.
much, yes. And it's not even something you have to overcome anymore because you're remembering it's something that you are that you forgot.
Yeah,
Not that
100%.
you fully forgot, like you knew elements of it. There was just a little bit of a story playing out that made you think it could get taken away.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now you get to live in the realm where you're remembering,
yeah.
right? And now you get to witness, yes, and you get to witness the magic that unfolds from this place. Allow
Yeah,
yourself to be very open to things shifting and changing in alignment with the energy of you two being together.
yeah, I can't wait. Thank you.
Can you keep us updated on this? Like, I so want to know.
Of
I'm
course.
very invested in this now.
Got you.
Thank you, Madeline. I hope you
Yeah,
enjoy your time with him as well,
I
since he's
will.
coming tonight.
Thank
Sending you
you,
so much
everybody.
love.
I appreciate it very much.
Amazing. Wow, so beautiful. And so many of you hung out for the 2.5 hours. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. Hi, Raven. Hi, Keenan. Good to see you both. What's up? Oh my gosh. Eli is here. Amazing. Vivian's still here. August is back. August, I just love you so much. I could still cry thinking about our session. I hope you're doing amazing. Okay, so Sharon's here too, doing all the work with us and all the other beings who have their phones off. Hi, good to see you. Leslie is in the woods. She has some sheep running after her, of course, because her existence is so wanted. She has all the sheep running after her. Oh, this is so awesome. All right, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you guys in the community chat in the meantime. If you have any questions, let the community support you. Let one another support you in that chat. It's so amazing. If you want to join the mastermind, it starts end of June. If you have any questions, email support@SarahZula or message me. I would love to get to share all the goodness in that container with you if you feel like it's in alignment with you. And in the meantime, we have podcasts, voice notes, sending you so many blessings. Thank you for being here. And bye for now, beautiful beings. I adore you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
See you.
Sarah.
Thank you. Emily, thank you for showing us your face for a moment. Bye. Good to see you, Emily. Bye for now. Awesome. Bye, beautiful beings.